Righto, Talio there. Today I'm going to be doing my mini review of the Fractal's design Celsius S24 pre-filled CPU water cooling system. And yes, I caved. I always use Noctua fans and I said I would never use water cooling because frankly, air cooling is just quieter and I do like silence, but I've just caved because this X299-7900X is just like a hot CPU. And I thought I'd give water cooling a go because this water cooler is supposed to be the quietest on the market. So if this isn't quiet enough, well, I'll be going back to Noctua fans. Now, after I do my mini review, I will show you how to install this because I haven't seen a video on how to install this and I've never installed one before. It's very easy. So this particular water cooler, the Celsius S24, it comes in either 240 or a 300 radiator. So 2 fans or the 3 fans, 120mm fans that is. Now you can use it for socket 1150, 1151, 1155, 1156, 1366, Intel 211 and Intel 2066, which is the new X299 platform. And you can use it for AMD, AM4, Ryzen, whatever. Now the reason I bought this one is because it was supposed to be the quietest. I will leave a link in the description to OC3D's review of this because he compares it to like loads of different water coolers. And what you will find is this one here, even though it doesn't perform the best in cooling your CPU. In actual fact, this 240 is as quiet as pretty much every other 120 water cooling systems. It is definitely the quietest out of the 240s and even the 3 fan models. Now I'm used to silence. I can actually hear this a little bit. It has fluid bearing fans, so the fans are quiet. 500 RPM to 2000. I can even get them down to 300 RPM. They are actually really quiet fans. Now, inside the CPU cooler unit itself, the part that goes on the CPU, it does have deadening material inside there, and that deadening material does quiet down the pump. And that's probably the only thing you'll hear. You won't hear the fans, you'll just hear the pump. And it sort of sounds like a fridge. That's all I can say. Like a quiet fridge. You will hear it. You won't hear the fans unless it really cranks up. All right. It's not as good as fans, Noctua fans. It's nowhere near as quiet as that. But compared to any other all-in-ones, it is the quietest. So it is a pretty clean unit. It's pretty much all black. On the top of the CPU cooler, you have a Fractal logo there. It is glossy there. You'll also notice on the water block there, you have 2 settings and you just twist the dial there and you can have PWM, which means you can control the fans yourself in your BIOS or whatever, or you can leave it on automatic, which favors quietness over cooling. And I just leave it on automatic. Keeps super cool that way. Nothing fancy about it. It's pretty much all black. It has braided hoses. An actual smart thing is the actual fan line runs up the braided hose and goes into a fan hub up the top, so you can plug all your fans up into that hub and then plug one into the motherboard and it can run all the fans. Now I don't do that. I run it a different way. I'll tell you when I show you my installation video, and that makes things super clean. And the whole design in general is just fairly bland but very clean. The only thing that stands out is maybe the white fans. That's about it. In terms of performance, I was getting around 15 to 20 degrees better cooling than I was with my fan cooler. Now if you get the highest end Noctuas like the 15 and the 15S, that will be somewhere between my CPU cooler, which you would say is the typical fan cooler, and this all-in-one's temperature. So the cooling is very good. It's not class leading. There are coolers that cool better, but this is the most silent. So for me personally, I will take the couple of extra degrees for a silent all-in-one. Some people won't care about noise and they'll prefer which one cools the best. For me, it's which one's the most silent, and this is the most silent, and it's pretty much competitive in terms of cooling, a couple of degrees here or there. So how to install it? It's pretty simple. First, you're going to find out what socket you're using. So you may have to use a bracket for your socket. For me, I'm using the 211 or the 2066 socket, which is basically the same mounts. They're not the same socket, but they're the same mounts. And basically I just find the standoffs that are for the 211 and they are the ones with the short stub on the bottom. You just screw all those in, nip them up a little bit, don't over tighten them. So once you've done that, you just put the fans on the radiator and make sure you work out where you're going to put it in your system, and then work out which way you're going to put the fans to have the cables at the back so you're not going to see them. So once you've secured the fans, then you have to mount it where you want in your case, and that's simple. It's a few screws. You just do up those screws. And me personally, I just have the air exiting out the top, so I put the radiator up the top. You may have to remove some panels off the top of your case or on the front of it. Some people like to mount it at the front with the air coming in, bringing hot air in. That's up to you. Or you can have the hot air exiting and put it on the top. Then once you've done that, just paste your CPU, put the right amount of paste. I'm sure you know how to put thermal paste on your CPU. Then you put the water cooling block on, tighten it up opposite and even, screw them both at the same time if you can, opposite and even. Make sure you don't tighten it too much, just enough, and then pretty much you're done there. All you got to do is work out where you're going to put your cables, where you're going to connect your water cooler to your motherboard. For me, I connected the fans to the CPU and CPU option on my motherboard, and I connected the pump to the water pump header on my motherboard. Now, as I said before, you can connect your fan to the provided hub on this water cooler and just have the one cable going into your fan header on your motherboard. I prefer to separate it so I can control it, but that's entirely up to you. So that's it. That's my mini review. That's how you install it. Let me know in the comments down there what you think. Do you prefer air cooling or do you prefer water cooling? Don't know if I'm going to keep it yet. It's not silent like air cooling, so I'll give it a few days. We'll see how it is. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and until next time guys, tally ho.